washer. And he didn't know how to make starch, but he made those clothes as stiff as that right there. But he would run over there and give me that, and then he'd go back to class, and
Yep.
I'd wash and hang him up, and then he'd run over there. And
So they didn't. He wasn't a veteran.
yeah, he was.
Oh, but they didn't live in.
They didn't live.
Oh,
They lived in one of those
They lived in
things,
Veterans Village.
but it wasn't.
It was far.
It was a
yeah.
couple of blocks from us.
See, Clifford and Vivian was there also at the same time.
Oh,
We was all three families there.
now what was Clifford in?
He was a graduate engineer.
No, no.
Civil. Oh, he
In the
was
military.
He was in ordnance over
In
in
the
Europe.
Army?
He was in the Army, wasn't he?
Yeah, Army
Mhm.
ordnance.
And what was Tom? Was he in the?
I don't really
Sure.
know what he was in. We stay all wound up in Alaska there.
Did you? What are you up to? The first house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think we sold that house for $9,000, didn't we? When we bought the other one, the brick one.
We had built onto that house. You remember?
The one on Waverly Drive?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Built
that.
on that whole back section
He and
there.
I did most of it.
Yeah, I can't remember that much of it.
No, you wouldn't.
I remember living there, but I don't,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
So you sold it for.
I think wasn't it $9,000?
Might have been a little bit more than that because we put a little bit of money into it. Probably about, yeah.
9
And then we bought the one over
in
on Harlem.
1957
No,
when you sold it.
no,
Or,
no, because Barbara was born in 1957.
Yeah.
But you were born when we lived there.
yeah.
And then, I don't know what year we bought that house over on
Hiram.
Hiram.
That's one reason why we did it, because
I
we needed
think you
more
were
room.
in the first grade. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because I was pregnant with Barbara, so we had to move. So we bought that brick house.
So it would have been.
1956, probably.
But I was only 5 years old then.
Well, you were only in kindergarten,
Okay.
though. And Tony, I can remember
So-
this. You went to kindergarten in the afternoon. So one day, I was walking with you to school,
Listen to this.
and it was really windy, and I had a maternity top on. And Tony said, "How come your stomach's so big?" And I said, "Well, we're going to have a baby." And he said, "Well, how's it getting out?"
That's dumb.
So I said, "Well, I don't know, Tony, it'll be here."
Sold it for $9,000 in 1956. Okay, and then
We
And then-
what'd we pay about
On Hiram,
on
I
Hiram?
think 12.5.
and
On Hiram, yeah, we bought that
Oh.
brick house
yeah,
with the basement and everything for $12,500.
Yeah, we built onto it.
Hiram. Yeah, I remember that. For how much? 12,000.
Yeah. And then we
Was
sold
that
that.
2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms?
That had
That had
three
three
bedrooms,
bedrooms, yeah.
3 bedrooms, yeah.
Yep.
And then he fixed that
Yeah,
place in the basement for Mike
right.
when he was in
And
college.
then the back room with the fireplace
Yeah.
was
uh-huh.
added on. Okay. See if you can remember this one. What was your first argument?
I don't know.
Okay.
Honestly, Tony, we haven't ever had a hard
Yeah.
time with each other.
Well, I don't know. I was a pretty bad cook. Hey, I want to tell you.
Oh, yeah, gravy was the first time
Oh,
up.
and it was so thick you couldn't even hardly get it out of the. But anyhow, he told me he wanted chocolate pie. Well, in this little kitchen down in Stillwater, in that Veterans Village, they were little they weren't electric. They were ice boxes, you know, kind of built in the wall. And so I made the chocolate pie, but it wasn't cool yet. So I set it up on the. We had to get ice from an iceman.
No
you know.
refrigerators.
So I
Right.
set it up on top of there, and I opened it up. Well, you know what happened to the pie? Clunk on the floor. Yeah, that gravy, you couldn't even hardly cut that with a knife.
There's another incident in that little house that might be kind of fun to people to watch. I had gone hunting one morning before classes and brought home a duck, and she picked it inside that little room, that kitchen. Yeah.
Okay, what was your first car?
1950 Ford.
50 Ford. Okay.
Yeah, brand new. I
Right.
learned to drive on that car.
Hold on a minute.
You know where I got the answers here.
Oh yeah.
Tony,
Where did we get the
keep-
the Ford after I'd been out to Seattle here?
yeah, but that's the first
Yeah,
car
we was able
had.
to save enough money to buy the Ford.
Because Boeing sent a bunch of guys. How many guys came out?
Well, 4 of us.
Out here to Seattle
Yeah.
for about 6 months, I think. And we lived, oh, well, Tony wouldn't even know about this. There was a fourplex of apartments when he got out of college and went to work for Boeing. We rented one of those. Betty and Glenn Jones, that's
Oh,
how we met them. They moved in after somebody else moved out.
And that was in Wichita.
That was in Wichita. And we
Uh-huh.
lived there until he got home from Seattle, and we bought that car. And then I think the next, I don't know, was it 2 years or something before we bought a house? Because Tony wasn't born.
Yeah,
We didn't have Tony.
yeah.
So you bought the first car for how much?
I don't know.
Oh, tell me at that time it was ridiculous.
$800, $900.
For a brand new car.
Yeah, it
It
was a
just
brand new Ford.
wasn't any fancy car, just a plain old Ford. Brand new.
Black.
Remember that? Black, brand new. Yep.
My aunt and uncle lived up when we were in this apartment, they lived up a street a little ways. And she wasn't too much older than me. It was Grandpa's sister. And she was taking driving lessons at a driving school, but he was teaching me to drive. But we took our test the same day for our driver's license. And we both passed, but I guess I about scared you to death that one time. We were,
You were driving?
he was teaching me and I got pretty close to something, but I didn't hit it.
Got along good.
Didn't you guys get hit by a big truck in that car?
Yeah,
The what?
got hit by a truck in that car, remember?
Uh-huh.
Out there
That
south
was,
of Wichita.
we'd been down to Blackwell to her folks. And you and Mike was in the
No,
back.
Tony wasn't even born yet.
I thought both of them were in the back seat. Just
No,
Mike, I
just
guess.
Mike.
But there's a little old shopping center out south of Wichita there, the main intersection. And that truck pulled out from that intersection. And I was headed into town and I run into the back of him.
Oh.
He pulled out in front of me.
Didn't do too much to the car, but it was in the shop, and then they give you a rental car,
Yep.
didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we got everything done
And
there.
you know, kids didn't have seat belt or car seats
Yeah.
then. We didn't have seat belts either. But Mike was asleep in the back seat, and he was okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Took out the right front fender. The alignment was all right, but it took all that out. Was lucky.
You might have already answered some of these. How long did you know each other before you got married?
Not too long, year
Maybe.
maybe.
What attracted you to the other person?
His black hair. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought he was cute.
Yeah.
Just mutual liking, I guess.
Did you have any idea what it would last for 70 years?
I never thought it. I never thought about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you have a plan for your life when you first got married?
A plan.
You were going
Well-
to work at Boeing, and
You know.
You know you wanted to work at Boeing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We probably thought about it, Tony, but nothing.
Yeah.
Didn't write anything down or anything. Just hoping that we could hang in there and come out with everything. Haven't done too bad.
no, I think we got along pretty well,
You bet.
even down there at Stillwater.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Vivian had Steve up at Blackwell,
Oh, yeah.
and so Clifford, he came over to eat with us all the time. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Now, Clifford ended up working for the railroad, right?
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
He finally retired with them. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Southern Pacific, I believe.
What did Grandma and Grandpa Davis think about Dad?
Well, you had met my mother,
Yeah.
but he hadn't met Daddy.
Uh-huh.
So when we got married that day, we were coming home, and he said, "Does your dad like to drink a whiskey every now and then?" And I said, "Yeah, he does." So he went in and bought a bottle of whiskey. And when we got back to Blackwell, we used
First time I
Grandpa's
met
car
Earl.
Oh, first time?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
and drove out there, and they all, heck, you know, they all like to fish
yeah.
and everything. So
Yep.
And everyone was born by then, right? Larry was,
oh yeah, Larry was 4 when you were born.
oh, okay. So Larry was pretty young. He's only,
Uh-huh.
what, 2 years older than Mike? Or 1 year older than Mike?
No, Larry is, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
They were more like brothers
Yeah.
instead of, because Larry was born in 44, December 1944.
You might want to know this. It's the first time, it might be for a laugh or something. First time I ever went to our house, seemed like there's a kid in every corner.
I don't like for you to say that.
I do. That's
Well, I
good.
don't.
There's just nine kids.
They
So,
weren't all there. Bob was in the Navy.
but there's enough of them around there.
No, Bob wasn't in the Navy yet then. I think Dale was down there in Tulsa.
Could have been. I don't know.
But
But it
Bob
just
was-
seemed that way to me.
Well, it was.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have it.
When you was Dale the second oldest?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, her and then Dale.
I was 13 months older than Dale,
Oh, okay.
and I was 2.5 years older than Bob.
Mm-hmm.